first picture of Margaret Maggie Madigan ever surfaces by a fellow from Ireland named Shannon Maloney. And that was the only picture at that time that existed of Margaret Maggie Madigan. And so Robert Bracken asks Karen, he says, we have a pretty popular magazine called Voyage. It's about not only other cruise liners, but about the Titanic. And he asks her to write an article in there called Searching for Maggie. And so she writes this really wonderful article about all of her research. That gets the whole ball rolling, the song, Robert Bracken, and about a year later, Robert Bracken comes out with a story called An Irish Immigrant's Dream Unfulfilled. A very sad story. You can see this if you type in tonight, Google Margaret Maggie Madigan. You will see the only article that's ever been written about her. And it's by this gentleman, Robert Bracken. And you know where he's standing right there? He's standing on her unmarked grave in Queens, New York, Calvary Cemetery. That's where she's buried. Died in 1968. The whole story is about her leaving her family in the little town of Askeaton, County Limerick, Ireland, making her way, obviously the story of the sinking of the Titanic. She survives, gets aboard the Carpathia, gets to New York, and basically gets lost in history because a lot of people didn't want to talk about this. This was so traumatic for her. But eventually, she did talk about it, and in this article, it shows you that she got married twice. Once to a gentleman by the name of Hart, H-A-R-D-T, and another fellow by the name of O'Shea. But when you read the article, both her husbands die at an early age. She has one child through a gentleman named O'Shea. That one child, a teenager, dies. You'll never guess how he dies. He drowns. He falls out of a boat and he drowns. How ironic. So here's this lady, Margaret Maggie Madigan. The story is all there, and it talks about how basically she lived a life as of an Irish washerwoman, going from one place to another, cleaning people's clothes, and even though she was married twice and had one child, she basically lived a life, kind of a lonely life, sad life, and in 1968 was buried and was put into a plot that was never recognized anywhere in Calvary Cemetery. Kind of a very sad ending. But Karen says, I can't let that go like that. She goes to Calvary Cemetery and she asks, I want to raise money. I've been doing so much research about her. Finally, the news has come out 5 years later. This is 2006. And she says, I want to put a tombstone on Margaret Maggie Madigan's unmarked grave. And they said, yes, you can do that for $23,000. She says, $23,000? I can't even raise that. I can't afford that. How come? Well, she died in 1968. There's two other people buried with her. Nobody has taken care of that grave plot since 1968. Plus there's a cost of getting something in the graveyard. Plus you just can't put a tombstone. You also have to have a cement foundation to put the tombstone on. The tombstone itself would cost $4,000 or $5,000. She said, there's no way I can raise that kind of money. She said, could I at least put a grave marker, a simple grave marker on the tombstone? And they said, yes. She came up with a beautiful wrought iron cross, a small plaque. And she put that at the head of Margaret Maggie Madigan's grave. And the Calvary Cemetery said, if anybody steals it, since it's not locked in or anything, we're not responsible. And she said, no problem. And on the plaque, it says, Margaret Maggie Madigan, Hart O'Shea, Titanic survivor, August 11, 1890, December 14, 1968. And she wrote, In the Hearts of Strangers. And I said, Karen, why did you do that? She said, well, a little bit of money that people did send in. And I think she raised something like almost $2,000. And what the Titanic Encyclopedia people did was they said, we will use that money to enhance the graves of other Titanic survivors that only have small things. But they said, this is the plaque and the cross that we use on Maggie's grave. So you look at this, and you say, wow, Karen Thomas, you know, almost like she said to me, I was almost obsessed with whatever happened to Maggie. Finally, she said, when I put the cross and the plaque on Maggie's grave, she said, I felt a sense of closure. I get pictures every now and then from people who have read this article since 2006. I've never met this lady, Abby Greenberg, I know is her name. I invited her today. She said she couldn't come. She's in New York. She said that she sent me a picture of her, and that's the size of Maggie's plaque. So you can see it's not a very big plaque in this graveyard. But she said, I want to send you a picture that I visited Maggie Madigan's grave. When I look at the Statue of Liberty and the Titanic, full moon there, that's what should have happened. It wasn't a full moon then, but this artistic interpretation. But as you can see,